What's been your most rewarding and most challenging business venture and why?
Most rewarding was building my dad's business for him. And it was the most challenging. The first 12 years of my career are the most interesting of my career. To be 22 and have so much confidence and passion and ambition and be able to go into a mental place that you're gonna spend the next decade or two building a business for not yourself, even if it's your dad, it's not for yourself, and be grossly undercompensated the whole time, and work in a retail environment 6 or 7 days a week for 13 to 17 hours a day was just like, Rocky IV? Do you know that movie, Rocky IV? You know how he gets ready for Drago and he's like in the snow with the fucking log on his back and just like doing that shit? I just basically did that for 12 years. Like it was just such a fucking like, I'm gonna turn off everything and just go to the woods and disappear for 12 years. And it's just super rewarding because I really wanted to do that for my parents. But it also meant that at 34, I basically had zero money. And that required a level of conviction and humility that has serviced me really well. A lot of people when they really know my story, like the actual people that watched it from my teenage years, they're flabbergasted by the level of growth from 34 to 47, the last 13 years. And for me, when I think about it, I'm like, it was just the training. I was in such a like fucking crazy mental place that once I had freedom to do it for myself, I just went so hard and so creative. And so it was super rewarding, but incredibly challenging because especially as I got into my late 20s, early 30s, like when I went to go buy an apartment and they laughed me out of the bank because they're like, you don't have anything. I'm like, right, I don't have anything. Like, I don't own shit. I have no money. I'm like thinking like, I just took a business from 3 to 75 million. I'm like fucking really good at and they're like, this is cute, but you don't own anything. You have nothing. I'm like, I remember walking out of there, I was like pumped. I was like, yeah, I have nothing. Like it was really motivating in a weird way. And so, that was hard. And this is why I make so much content about patience. Listening to these fuckers at 27 who are like, and I'm like, you fucking asshole. I was making $63,000 a year at 27, working in a fucking liquor store. You're way ahead of me. Stop crying and like figure this out. Dwelling and pondering and crying doesn't do shit. And it especially doesn't do shit in this echo chamber. In this arena, there is no crying. You can cry, you're just gonna lose. And I have bad news about complaining and crying. Let me tell you something about complaining and crying that's really, really gonna hurt for all you complainers out there. Nobody gives a shit. And let me give you a preview who gives a shit. The following people give a shit when you complain. The other losers around you, your sick, broken parent that secretly wants to hold you down so that you're not more successful than them. And let me remind you one more time, the other fucking losers around you. If you leave here and start your process of really knowing what makes you happy, of who are you really, if you could stop chipping away the voices from the outside, if you can start figuring out what you're scared of, if you want to actually do something, even in the light of the picture that I'm painting right now, who are you scared to fail in front of? The reason so many of you are not doing what you want to do is you're scared to fail in something. You're scared that your brother will judge you, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, and most scary, your mom or your dad. You need to eliminate that and/or own that fear and put yourself in a position to succeed. Because with all of this, we are now in the greatest era. For the first time ever, with no fucking money, with no goddamn connections, this can put you on the map. If you're good enough, if you are good enough to be up here, to make bling bling, if you are good enough, nobody's stopping you. Not fucking Donald Trump, not the fucking Russians, nobody.
if you are a minority, if you are a female, if you are a transgender, if you're a fucking alien, the market doesn't give a fuck. If you make the best shit, you will win. Do you know how sucky it was to be a nerd 20 years ago? But now the market is rewarding fucking nerds, and now they're rock stars. Clap it up if you're a fucking nerd. The best part about that was some dude was clapping for it, and I said, clap it up if I'm a fucking nerd. He was like, that's awesome. I don't know. I'm so grateful. I was born in the Soviet Union. Both of my grandfathers spent 10 years in jail for being Jewish, right? Like, more people in America died last year because a coconut fell off a tree and hit him in the head than from terrorism. I'm just gonna say that one more time. Yeah, true. Funny thing about data, it doesn't fucking lie. More Americans died last year because a coconut fell from a tree, hit them on the head, they died, than terrorism. As somebody who aspires to be one of the great brander and marketers of his generation, I refuse for hate and horseshit and negativity to outmarket me. I will sit here today, I will sit here on the slides on every one of those platforms when they put it up. I hope they do. Follow me back there, you told me you would. Thank you very much. On stage, on those platforms, every day, 24/7, 365, I will remind you that life is phenomenal, that nobody gives a shit, so the government or your mommy's not gonna help you. You gotta do it, own your shit, but it's never been better. We've got a bigger chance than ever. We can do our thing. And so I flew from London, I just flew in, I barely fucking made it to this talk. All the fucking guards here are fucking gangsters, right? Fuck those guards. I barely made it here, and I don't know, I've got some other talk now for 45 minutes about marketing on another stage, and then I'm flying home. And the only reason I wanted to be here, the only reason I wanted to be in Lisbon for 4 hours today is because I knew there was a lot of you, I knew there was a lot of youngsters, and we are choosing what to listen to on social media now. So we're going into what we want to hear, and a lot of people need to hear one of two things today, which is, this is the greatest era to ever be alive and be an entrepreneur or executive if you want it, and stop complaining and dwelling because nobody gives a fuck.
Trying to make no profit for as long as possible. So now I'm gonna really fucking give you a brain twist after what I just said to him. So now I have no money, and I start a new business, and I decide to make no money. Right? So Vayner started in 09. First 2 years, AJ really ran it. I still had to run the business, plus I wrote Crush It, and the Garyvee thing started happening. So we did 1.3 million the first year, 3.7 the next year, and then I came full time, and we went from 3.7 to 14, and from 14 to 27, from 27 to 49. And the whole time, we poured all the money back into business and paid each other $100,000. The pivotal decision was feeding the business, not my ego or my bank account or my vices.